Alright, Game Cooker US Rocks VR here. Playing some Hunter Primal on my RTX 3090 with my Alienware computer. I don't really know how long that's going to last because the game keeps crashing. It seems like the better the video card, the worse it performs. So it's a shame that no one's updating the game so that we can at least get some, Well, this thing is really like... I need to... Oh man, what's he doing? I think I need to change my controls here if it doesn't crash, because it's been crashing a lot. Controls, I already got it turned up here. I don't know why it's so slow. Okay, that's a little better. Not perfect, but I think I have it on VSync. I don't know if you can see the overlay. Yeah, I had to put it on VSync hoping that it won't crash. So it's stuck at 60 frames per second because I'm on a 4K television. Um, but I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. No data. What? Oh, come on. What's going on with this thing? The stream stopped? Why is it saying no data? Huh. It's weird. It says no data, then it says excellent connection. Yeah, it's a shame, man. This game just, it runs very poor on, like, good hardware. Which is kind of weird, right? Like my old video cards, it runs fine. Yeah, you can't see the data on the screen. I have the frames per second on there, but I guess it doesn't matter anyway. But I was running when I had it at 4K running, it was like running over 200 frames per second. So if you want to know how the game runs on an RTX 3090, well, there you go. So I guess that was the second one. There should be more activity over here because I've been trying to log on. Well, I did log on a few times and got kicked off. So I'm surprised there isn't like a T-Rex here by now. Very noisy here by the water. See, I'm afraid to even harvest because every time I do something like loot, it crashes. But again, that could have been because I have the I had the VSync off. Maybe it's just running too fast or something for this old engine that's not optimized. But either way, I'm just going to play for a little bit. Figured maybe somebody wanted to get on. It looks like we have quite a few people on. don't think the server's going to crash because usually if you're just sitting there doing nothing, the game is fine, you know? I wonder if I should go get some stuff. Well, anyway, I guess I won't mess with that. Might as well just play for a little bit and see how long it lasts. Wonder where everybody is. I think there was 2 Utah Raptor back there. I should have got the second one. Oh well. I don't know if any of you caught wind of it, but what did I type in today? I typed in the Hunter Primal in Google search, right? And man, I wish I remembered the name of it now. Crap. Well, I ended up seeing this wiki site. It's called Wiki Ideas or something like that. And it showed the Hunter Primal and then some kind of a name, like a name after it, like, you know, the Hunter Primal, like, I don't know. You know, like if, in other words, if I remade this game and I called it the Hunter Primal Back to Eden, like it wasn't called Back to Eden, but it was called something else. And like there was a whole like, I don't know if it was fake. It had to be fake. Just somebody pulling our legs. I mean, it had like a release date, which was last year. It had like a list of updates that were already done. It said there was 18 different dinosaurs rather than 5. And then it had like a whole bunch of like just notes about like what the developer was doing with it. And what's up, Smokey? So I thought that was kind of interesting. I probably could find it on my laptop here. Let me see. Let me type it in. Just to give you the name so you can type it in yourself. So it's on, let's see. Oh yeah, it's called Cry of Eden. Yeah, it's on ideas.fandom.com, and it's called the Hunter trademark Primal Cry of Eden. So that's kind of funny. It's got to be fake. It's just got to be somebody that's just like jerking our chain. I mean, it would be great, you know, if somebody was doing this, but it says the Hunter Primal Cry of Eden is a sequel to the Hunter Primal, being made in the style of the Hunter Call of the Wild. Now that would be cool because you know I've been putting every time they came out with DLC, I was putting in like you know the comments section on Steam, you know make a Primal map, You know, we want a dinosaur map. And some people were saying, no, no, we don't need that, man, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about them guys. So it says being made in the style of the Hunter Call of the Wild, so I'm assuming that they're talking about using that engine, the newer engine, and like using all the same, guns and shooting mechanics. It says it's set to release spring 2020. Now, come on. Now, if this was true, then it definitely got disrupted by COVID, you know what I mean, for sure. And it says it's being developed by Expansive Worlds. Like, really? And being published by Avalanche Studios. And it says it will be available on Steam. So I don't. The reason why I don't buy it is because, number one, I checked on Steam and the game is nowhere on there. Like, at least I couldn't find it. So, I mean, you would think that if it was even like a to be announced, right? They would have a page. But they don't even have a page. So, I'm just thinking it's a big joke. Uh-oh. What do we got here? Somebody ran over here, huh? Oh, Smokey. What's up, Smokey? That's you. Um, yeah, so, yeah, I think it's just jerking our chain here. Like I said, it's a good, it's good, what is this? It's good ideas. Like if I read it a little bit more for you, it says, advertisements. That's what I think it is, just somebody making it up to make money. So here it says, you're a pioneer from the expansive galaxies corporation set to prehistoric planet by the name of Primal Eden. Okay, that makes sense. To search for missing pioneers that were lost on a timeless world. Now that's a little different theme. You are only armed with a machete as you land on the soil, so that's not different, right? And you must search for better camouflage and weapons to defend yourself and hunt native inhabitants of this world of dinosaurs. Chances of survival are little. And the only way to survive is to make your way to the top of the food chain. The hunter becomes the hunted. Right? So, where did Smokey go? Oh, I guess he's up there. So, the hunter, known as the pioneer in the game lore, is an ex-criminal prisoner. Okay, so that's not really different. Okay, so let's see here what we said. Now, here's the weird thing, right? And again, this is a pretty good fake if it's a fake, because they're really like going out of the way to make this like authentic. So here you have game updates already, right? March 12th, March 18th, March 31st, all the way up to June 9th of last year, right? Which would have been, after the release date of spring, although I guess June 9th is still technically spring. So, alright, so maybe they did make that window. So, like, it's already showing, like, it says March 12th, 2020, game was released. Where? If you guys can find this game somewhere, please tell me. Then here's game updates, right? March 18th, scope and binocular glitch fixes. March 31st, invisible dinosaur glitch fixes. April 1st, rocket launcher. April Fool's tease. Okay, we never actually added that. So they're like, adding an April Fool's thing in there. Rapid day-night cycle glitch fixed. Now these are all things that you see in this game here, that's the weird thing, right? Like, they're all the things that they're fixing that you have problems with here. So why would you have that same problem in the Call of the Wild engine? Here it says May 4th. Again, this is 2020. So this already happened, apparently. It was already getting updated, apparently. Added 3 new firearms. A 22, a 243, and a 460. Okay, which really, if they're using the Call of the Wild engine, they should have already had that stuff in there, but I digress. May 11th, Trophy Stronghold DLC released. So this game, this supposed game that's already been out now, has DLC already. Did I miss something? Did they release something on Call of the Wild that I don't know about? May 16th, 2020. Trophy Podium position fixed. So this has a place where you can put the podium, your trophies that you get. May 29th, 2020. Added 4 new dinosaur species. Okay? And I'm sorry that I'm turned away. I'm just trying to read it over here. I could have put it up on here, I guess. Added 4 new dinosaur species. The Protoceratops, I can't really see, it's small. The Thanatotherastus, I can't. Therizinosaurus and Acrocanthosaurus, as well as complying achievements for each species. And then June 1st, 2020, added the rare alpha variants of those things, 2 of those dinosaurs. And then June 9th, Jurassic Map expansion released. So this game that supposedly was released last year in March, right? I'm going to get attacked here. In March 12th, already has DLC and an expansion pack. And then it says, it stops there at June 9, 2020. And then it just says, more coming soon. And then it says here, there's a total of 7 regions, right? Let me put this over here so I can kind of look at it this way. And tell me if you don't really want to hear this. Do I know how to save the game? Farkas? Yeah. Go to my Discord. Download my save file on there. You got to look through the chat. You know, scroll up through the chat until you see, what is it, thp.save. Download that, and then overwrite your existing save file. You got to go into, I don't know, what is it, Steam. Steam, crap, user data. So go to your Steam folder, user data, and then, I don't know. I can't really, I'm afraid to minimize the game because it might crash. Well, anyway, see if you can find the save file first, and then come back and we'll try to get you set up. I mean, you could look that up on Google. They'll tell you where the save file is. If you look it up on Google, just say, "Where is the Hunter Primal save location?" and then go to that place and then put your save file there. Sometimes, occasionally, it's in the different numbered folder. So, in that case, just do like a computer search of the thp.save. And then find, see where it's located on your computer, because it could be different. So anyway, let's see here if I can continue this now. I mean, again, if I'm wasting your time, just let me know. So anyway, it says in the supposed new Hunter Primal game, right? Called, again, the name is Cry of Eden. It has a total of 7 regions. Okay? It's got the Royal Palace, which is the smallest region. Death Valley, Tyrant Paradise, Mount Sisyphus, Celeste's Reach, Eden's Maw, and Reaper's Harvest. And it's got like, you know, I don't know, several different weapons. Let me see where this thing ran. Ooh. Hey, what's up? T-Rex. Hello there. Alright, so the weapons it has, and I'll just go real quick. It's got machete, wooden bow, 22, 44, Raven tactical axe, 243, 12 gauge crowd control, Talon compound bow, Fang crossbow, 308 dual pistol, 12 gauge, 270, 556, 308 marksman and anti-personnel, a 4060 executioner revolver, executor revolver, 700 double rifle, 50 caliber. The Cataclysm's Fang melee weapon, extremely rare blade that can easily slice through any flesh, can burn as well. And a 557 Tyrannosaurus Rifle, an extremely powerful rifle from both near and afar, and can bring down the largest predators with ease. If you know where to shoot them, that is. Can easily ruin... Easily can what? I guess they're trying to say can easily ruin your... I don't know, they didn't type it right there. Anyway, it's very high damage. And then they even give like how much it cost in game. So it's pretty nuts, huh? Crazy. And then it talks about all the clothing. It's pretty weird, man. I guess I can put it in the chat. Just be careful, because I don't know, how safe it is. I don't see any virus warning coming up. And it was on Google search, so there it is right there if you guys want to check it out for yourself. So let me get to work here, though. So that's quite interesting. There was a new Primal Eden game, or Hunter Primal game, that apparently was already released and had updates and had expansions. It's like, it's possible they could have been working on something behind the scenes, but I don't know why they would have, posted all that. And maybe when COVID hit, they just dropped it. But again, it looks like they had something done. So I'm not really sure, like, if that's real or not. I'm sure that most people would be... What was that? I heard something. Most people obviously would be like, oh, wow, cool. Yeah, definitely. Hunter Primal in the Call of the Wild engine? I'll take it. Ooh. Oh, no, I forgot. I hear a Rex, though, and I'm not in a very good place here. Let me see where I can take this thing. There's a rock over here I could probably get on. There it is, right there. 50 caliber, do I have one? I do not have a 50 caliber. That's very unfortunate. And I don't even have any ammo. Wow. Okay. I am not prepared. Come on. Ah. Ooh, there's two. I hear a second one. I hear a second one. Come on. Give me a clean shot, man. That was a good one, I think. Let her bleed. I don't think he knows where I am yet. Ah. Ooh, vertebrae shot. Ah. Hate the wobble, man. Frickin' wobble. I got the grass. The heck. There we go. Got it. What we got here? Ooh. Okay, so I have to be... This isn't exactly the best rock. This one's just looking... Come on, man. Are you kidding? Gotta stop right there. Okay. What's this one doing? Just running around? Come on, one more good clean shot. This one's got to be down. Don't leave. Ooh, that's a nice shot. Oh, right in the nose. This one's got to be bleeding pretty good. I'm so rusty. Stop walking. That one I got a butt shot. That's it. This one, I think I can kill it if I get a nice clean shot. But that was dizzying. Don't do it. Oh, got me. I was gonna run away, but I thought I was gonna be able to get back enough. Anyway, rusty. Rusty I am. Crap. I don't think I played this in I don't know how long. Maybe what, a couple months maybe? No mercy this time. And now I'm worried it's gonna crash. And I wish they sold like those arrows from the don't crash. Cool. Please, don't crash. Yeeks. They're gonna take my stuff. Okay. That's really far away, my god. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous how far away this is. So you guys check that out, you know? If you want. Oh, I forgot to take my clothes off. So I was live streaming a game called League of Maidens. I'm sure some of you might have heard of it. And in the middle of streaming, my stream got cut off, and I got a message stating that I violated, you know, whatever, terms of service or whatever it is. And they said that, you know, whatever, this is a strike, but it's not going to be held against you because maybe you weren't aware that you weren't supposed to be streaming that game. And it's like, well, first of all, I guess the game is considered a mature game, like for adults, but I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if it's rated for 18 plus or for like 17 plus, but nonetheless, that doesn't even matter because number one, there was no I was not showing any nudity whatsoever, none, no sex, and even the outfit that my avatar was wearing, she was fully clothed. I mean, there was no boobs showing, no belly, no butt. I mean, no crotch, nothing, you know? Now, you can play the game that way if you pay to unlock the nude stuff, but, you know, I wasn't really playing it for that. I was just playing it to try it out. But when they gave me the strike, they said, you know, you're not allowed to show anything with sex and nudity in it. And it's like, well, there was no sex and nudity in it. I mean, it was basically the game was good for anyone to watch, basically. I mean, there might have been a couple curse words in there from the dialogue, you know, because some of the NPCs were like, you know, just use some cuss words. But I don't think that would get you strike, you know, any strike. It's kind of, I've never gotten a strike for cursing before. But, because all my videos are rated for not for kids, so I mean, you would think that you know, you're gonna expect some foul language and blood and gore and all that stuff, you know. So, but you know, I sent a message back saying there was like no, there's no nudity in this video. Like I don't know what you're talking about, you know. And you know, of course, At least I don't remember. I didn't see an email where I got a response. They did give me the opportunity to, I guess, dispute it or whatever, but they didn't really explain why they took my video down, except for the fact that you can't have sex and nudity in the videos, and it's like I had zero of both. Like there was nothing sexual in there at all. I mean, except for like all the obviously superhero, you know, maidens are, whatever. Well, they're however you want to make them. You know, they're not necessarily beautiful because if you make them fat and ugly, you can make them fat and ugly. No offense against fat people, but you know, um, it's just I don't know, man. That's why YouTube is just like I like YouTube as a service, right? But at the same time, it's like their policing just gets ridiculous. Like it's number one, it's not even necessary. I mean, if you label a video not for kids, right? Then that should be enough. Like you should be able to have, whatever anything adult, right? So I'm not saying that you should have hardcore sex or anything like that, obviously, but if a game has like, whatever, occasional nudity or, because some games do, like The Witcher 3, and there's some other ones out there, you guys know them. So it's like, but this game I was streaming, I didn't have any nudity or anything sexual, you know? So I don't understand why they took it down, and that was kind of I was, I'm not saying that anybody was going to watch it. That's not even the point, you know. But I was, I don't know how many hours. I think I was already streaming it for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't remember. And then they just cut it off and then erase it. They erased it because they never they never replied. So, oh, I lost all my stuff again. Oh no, I didn't. Excuse me. So that I just think that's wrong. So what I might do is with some of the games that I stream, and you guys can tell me your thoughts on this. Like I was thinking about going over to Odyssey with the with the games that YouTube are giving me problems with, like some of the adult games that I have, Ah. Some of the adult games that I have that don't necessarily have like really hardcore stuff, just, that might be a little bit, whatever, spicy, I guess if that's the term you use, to might think about going over to Odyssey. And I know that what people say about Odyssey online, and it's kind of stupid, Anyway, because there's so many different people that use Odyssey. It has nothing to do with like white supremacist or anything like that. It's very stupid how, just people are lying about Parler, lying about Odyssey, and even other platforms like Minds and whatever. There's more. I mean, there's plenty more that I didn't even know about that I just found out about. All those platforms are platforms that are not going to police you. Okay? You have freedom of speech, which is what you should have anyway on any platform, So you shouldn't be like not allowed on there or canceled or whatever. It's just that's not. And I sometimes I wonder these woke people, right, who first of all, I don't even know what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like righteous in some way. I'm not even sure like what woke people are really trying to do. I mean, they're not even being righteous in the traditional sense, right? Um, because righteous in the traditional sense would be following like the Bible, right? You know, if you want to go with what's righteous, that's what you would kind of model your your ideology on, right? Ah, freaking crash. What's up, Lynx? Daggone game. Darn it. You know, so you know, in a secular world, you should not be dictating the consciousness of others, right? And this is what I personally don't understand about woke people. And I'm saying woke people just because that's what they call themselves, you know, not because I made that up, you know. To me, they're just self-righteous. They think that they're holier than thou without having a religion. It's the same as being religious, like overly religious. You know, I have no problems with religion, you know, but don't infringe upon my rights because of your religion, you know. That's where I stand. I always stand for freedom. Like that's never going to change. Um, it's got nothing to do with left, right, or center. Like everybody should want freedom, and this is what I don't understand about woke people. These people, they try to like police movies, games, the internet, TV, social media, and I don't really understand really what they're trying to do. Like what are they trying to prove? Like I can understand the politicians, right? Because they're using it to get votes, right? What's up, Alvin? The politicians are using the wokeness to get votes, and they as well as the media are inciting, creating anger, right? To keep people angry so that they keep voting for them, you know, for the progressives, right? So, but what the cattle don't understand, the peons, the people who follow this kind of wokeness ignorantly, they don't even see that they're hurting themselves, right? Because when you take the freedoms of others away, you take your freedoms away, you know? So, I just, it doesn't register in my head. Like I don't care. Like you can try to say, well, it's to save the planet from climate change, which that's just speculation. That's not fact. That's just speculation. I'm 50 now. I've been hearing the world's going to end from either global freezing or global warming for like 40 years. You know what I'm saying? The world was supposed to end, you know, several times since I've been born. Your family wants to move from Estonia to Korea? Really? Well, Korea, I don't know what Korea's like, but I always wanted to go there. Um, and Alvin, I'm doing all right, man, I guess. I had a migraine yesterday, but I'm feeling better today. I'm not worried about COVID. I'm not worried about climate change. I don't know why everybody else is. But anyway, that's just me. Um, you know, science is good. I believe in science, but I believe in good science. I believe in proven science. I believe in empirical evidence, right? Not theory. So the problem with science today is that it's mostly conjecture, right? Or hyperbole. That's it. Like over here, Fauci, our wonderful Fauci, who's the, I guess, whatever, head of the CDC or he's head of the task force or whatever he is now, keeps changing his statements like, you know, get the vaccine to get back to normal. And then people are like saying, great, we have the vaccine. We can go out and eat, right? And he goes, well, not exactly. You know, and that's just two things. One thing he contradicted himself in. You know, and it's like, well, okay, you just said that get, we have to get the vaccine to get back to normal. You know, and it's like when you get the vaccine, it's like, well, no, 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 things are not back to normal yet. You know, now we got to get 70% of the population vaccinated before we can get back to normal. And it's like, well, okay, you already kind of like killed our economy, you killed our jobs, you destroyed businesses. You still got some states locked down. You still we still have to wear masks everywhere we go. You know, there was somebody that I heard, and I don't know if this is true, so I'm disclaiming that. But my wife told me, but sometimes she just, you know. Anyway, somebody was at an airport or something, and the lady didn't have her mask on because it wasn't mandated in that state, and she sneezed or coughed or something, and I think she coughed on somebody, and like she got arrested for that. Like, what? Really? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. I mean, if that was true, then that's, you know, things are getting way out of hand. I mean, first of all, the person she coughed on, great. She can say she's sorry, and you know, it takes 14 days or something for the virus to, you know, show if you get it, right? So within that time frame, the guy could have ran off, got a vaccination shot, right? And started taking some antibiotics and stuff. And it all would have been well. That simple solution. But what, you're going to throw somebody in jail because they coughed? I mean, this is and this is what people want to accept. This is what people are okay with. Yes, I want to live in a country where I have no rights. I want to live in a country where I'm scared all the time because there's doomsday in everything that you see now, right? Because that's what all the media spews out of their mouth. Oh no, we're going to die climate change. You know, oh no, we're going to die of you know, air pollution. Oh no, we're going to die of you know, whatever, white supremacists. Oh no, we're going to die from racism. Oh no, we're going to die from you know, not enough fresh water. Oh no, we're going to die from one of those asteroids that are out there, you know, that's coming. Oh no, we're going to die from the super earthquake. Oh no, we're going to die from the super volcano that's coming. It's like, this is all scientists. Alright, you guys going to help me or just stand there watching me get eaten again? Oh man, these guys are going to get me killed. Yeah, I don't know if they know about the running thing. Yeah, exactly. Why let people live? What the frick is purpose of life if you don't have freedom? You know, what's up, Herky? I mean, it's a virus. Like, everybody's like freaking out over a virus. It's like, and and again, I understand people get sick and die. I understand that, and I feel for those people, right? You know, I've been sick. I know what it's like to be really sick. But it just seems like scientists minimize everything now, right? They minimize everything. Everything is minimal, right? My point is this, like, the human body, right? Humans, whether you believe in God or not or whatever, I believe in God, so I believe this is how God made us, right? He made us to live on this earth, and, you know, this is the ecosystem we were made for. Now, obviously, if you believe in God, you believe things were perfect in the beginning, and then, of course, when Adam and Eve sinned, then things weren't so perfect anymore. Now, whether you believe that or whether you believe you evolved from some protoplasmic mud pool, which again is anti-scientific in many ways, but I'm not going to go there. It's like we have an immune system, right? Like, what is our immune system for? Like, they make it out like our immune system, for some reason, is incapable of fighting off infection. So now every new disease that comes, yeah, drop it. We have to be horrified and terrified, right? And we all missed this before, because remember when swine flu came? And everybody was kind of freaking out about it. I was kind of like wondering why everybody was getting uptight about it. You know, some people will die. I mean, it's just the natural order of things. Like, everybody's different, you know? Some people don't have strong immune systems, so you're going to die. I mean, there's how many people die of the flu every year, you know, or used to before COVID, you know? One year, I think it was 2017 and the 2018, we had 80,000 people that died from the flu. 80,000. And nobody batted an eye. Well, I wasn't really going to get all into this stuff, you know, but I was talking about YouTube telling me my video broke their rules when it obviously didn't if they just looked at it, and they erased it. Like, that's my time I spent. You know what I mean? So that's not cool, man. Like I said, I don't mind if they have rules that they want you to follow. That's fine. I'm all for that. But you know, they just took the video down. And I don't find myself to be very controversial. Oh God. Oh my Lord. I'm dead. You know, obviously this might be considered controversial, right? What I'm saying now, even though it shouldn't. But you know, science minimalizes everything. Like, even like our human body. Our human body is just outrageously amazing. Like, most people don't even think about it. I know they don't. Because most people would be like in awe, you know, of the human body. Like, there's just so many systems in the human body that have to, number one, exist, but that work together perfectly. You know what I'm saying? To make our body, to make our body even be alive, right? If you just take away one system, and in some cases, if you take away just one protein, if you made it impossible for one protein is being used every day non-stop, you will die. Or you will have some serious problems, you know, that would probably eventually cause you to die. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, but they minimalize that. Oh yeah, well, you know, we came out of some soup. You know, some cell just kind of like miraculously made the hundreds and thousands of parts that it's made up of. You know what I mean? And then they all just kind of said, "Oh, let's party together. Here, let's all just put ourselves together and have a working cell." You know, which, number one, I hate to say even if that could happen, because I don't even like saying that, because it can't happen. Right? It cannot. It's impossible. They've already done plenty of studies, plenty of mathematical computations to say that it's just universally impossible. for a cell to just magically make itself. Because there's so many parts that have to be made in order for it to function that it's impossible. It just can't happen. Because you need machines to make the parts and the parts to make the machines again. So it's like you saying, I want to build a factory. I'm going to be dead. Right? You have a factory you got to build. But you have to build you need the machines to build the factory first. And then the factory will build the machines that build the factory. Right? So where did the machines come to build the factory? You know, it's like you need something to build those. So you understand my point? Like you have to have the factory that builds the parts already existing to build the parts that build the factory that build the parts. Oh my god. Whoa. You know, and that's exactly how it is. I don't care what they teach you in college or high school or whatever. That's how it is. That's the fact. So to just simply say, oh, well, this evolved from that and that evolved from this, no. No. That's like LIE. Right? That's like not true. Now you could say you believe that happened, but there's no scientific evidence to prove that that could ever happen. In fact, there's only scientific evidence that says it cannot happen. That's the only evidence there. You're not going to find it someday. Like, it isn't going to be like someday we'll find out the keys to creation of how the first, you know, cell formed. Like, there's no key. They already know enough about how they already know enough about chemistry, right? And this is what this kind of stands on pretty firmly. They already know about chemistry and proteins and how a cell works. And they already know that they already know enough about how the cell works. They don't know everything, but they already know that certain mechanisms in your body have to be pre-existing. Like, in other words, that all the parts have to be in place in order for it to function. You know, the creationists will use the term irreducible complexity. But again, scientists will minimalize everything so that whenever somebody says that, they sound like a crazy person. Even though engineers will tell you the same thing, that in order for a computer to work, you have to have certain parts. Good night, Lynx. If you don't have the parts there, it won't work. Now you tell me, is a computer more complex than the human body? Uh-oh, what happened? It froze. Wow, glad she didn't eat me. Whew. So, you know, anyway, I'm going to get off of that. But I just hate the way scientists minimalize everything. You know, oh, this can happen so easily. That can happen so easily. Oh, our immune systems, they can't handle the new viruses when they come out. I mean, oh, you run. You know, hide in your house. You know, it's just so stupid. Like our immune systems are perfectly adapted to handle most invasive sicknesses, illnesses, whatever you want to call them, infections. You know, yes, you do have Ebola. Yes, you do have, some other pretty nasty ones, right? Anthrax. But even those, people have survived. See, this is what the media doesn't tell you. Like, even with all that, like, horror about Ebola, like, a lot of people tested positive and we're just doing fine. You know what I mean? So it's like, they don't even, like, tell you that, the other side of the story. They just want you to hear everything that's bad, you know? So, and, the media is the one who's causing what's going on in America right now. Like, they're the ones who brought out race, and the professors at the colleges. They're the ones who were bringing up the race card. Like everyone else, like me and hundreds of other people that I've known, and thousands of other people, and millions of others in this country. We've been living together pretty well. You know, as a melting pot. You know what I'm saying? We grew up learning that in school, that the United States is a melting pot of different cultures and races and all that. So if you're being taught that for the past 30, 40 years, then how all of a sudden can we be a racist country? And they bring up these like numbers and graphs and all that stuff, and it's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, all you got to do is look at the real world. You know what I mean? I can ask anybody on the streets and say, well, were you really like a victim of racism? And I guarantee you that if people are honest, they're going to say no. And you know why I know that? Because I can see things with my eyes. You know? I've lived in the South too for a while. And there was never once an inkling of racism down there that I experienced. Now, that isn't the South like, oh God, they're so racist. You know? No. Sorry. Superman. Now, of course you're always going to have dumb people everywhere you go. So, I mean, to say that there's no racism, well, obviously that would be pretty dumb for me to say. But is it a big problem? No, not a big problem. It's not. And the media is doing here what they did in Yugoslavia between the Muslims and the Christians. They're the ones who caused that hate in Yugoslavia. The media. Most people don't know that. They don't realize that. But all you got to do is a simple search on YouTube or anywhere else. And don't get a leftist viewpoint because they're just going to twist it. Get an independent source. Type in, was the role that the media played in Yugoslavia and the genocide that took place there. And then I could even tell you too that, remember the genocide in Africa? Those countries? Well, look that up too. And I guarantee you that if it wasn't the media that caused it, and I'm sure they played a big part, yeah, I bet you it was the academics and the extremists who went out there inciting the hate like they're doing here. I already know what's coming. I already studied Bible prophecy. Again, you guys read the Great Controversy. Don't be closed-minded just because it's a book about whatever that's religious based, I guess you could say, but it's all history. It all goes over history. And it all tells you exactly how things are going to end. So you want to know the future? You want to get ready for it? Well, read that book, The Great Controversy. Then read the Bible, because those two together, you'll know the future. So you can call me crazy or whatever you want to call me about that, but read it. Don't criticize or call names. Read it, and you will see. Your eyes will be opened to how things are playing out from history's past to today. And you'll see how that book written in the 1800s is like, you'll be like, wow, that's exactly what's happening today. You know? So the author of that book, she foresaw it way, way ahead of time. You know? God opened up her eyes and she wrote it down. And it's exactly the way things are going on today. So I already know that I'm going to be one of the persecuted ones. I already know it. I've known it now for 20 years. 30 years. 30 years? 30 years now. You know, I may not have lived my faith very well, unfortunately. I'm trying to get back to that, but, you know, it's, I didn't realize, you know, how close it was, how it was going to unravel exactly, you know. But man, social media obviously played a big part in this whole wokeness, everybody's a racist if you don't agree with me kind of mentality, you know. Jeez, man. Very, very rusty. Very rusty. Oh gosh. I don't know why I'm using this gun. I don't want this gun. Oh man, I don't have nothing. Where's all my guns, man? I don't know where my riot is. So you got infinite life? I think it's bugged. It's bugged, he's gonna end up dying. It's like infinite. So it keeps dying. He should just die. If he dies, I think it won't get bugged. Oh man. No, don't shoot it. Let it go. Let it go, let it go. Yeah, that's what I wanted it to do. Get on. Just, if he dies, you know, then... Alright, anyway. very loud. Gotta turn that down a bit. Yeah, best way to, you can't really get them to leave you alone unless you get, I don't know, maybe if you got on a rock, it might have ran away, I don't know. So anyway, my original point when I got into all this stuff that I don't really want to get into today is I'm probably going to be putting a link somewhere. I don't know if I'm allowed to put it on YouTube or if I can just put it up in my description or whatever you call that. I'm probably going to give a link up there to Odyssey. Again, it's not a place for white supremacists or far right. Now, they might be on there. I don't know. But I don't, really. Again, far right, that's all relative. Like, people call things far right that are not. But that's not the point. The point is that Odyssey is just a place where you can go and you don't have to worry about them taking your videos down because of some silly stuff. Like what happened to me on YouTube. With them taking down my video when there was nothing wrong with it. There was nothing obscene about it. So, so I might just put a link there, and then for any adult content, right, or any content that YouTube won't let me put on there, I'm gonna put my videos on there. Okay, so that way, like if there's any games that are whatever mature or adult or maybe 17 plus or whatever the case is, games like Witcher 3 or Skyrim, that have some nudity in them maybe sometimes, I don't know. I can post them there, you know. Um, but it won't be necessarily for that. It'll be for anything that YouTube won't let me put on there. Okay, you won't have to worry about like being labeled, because you went there. I mean, again, it's kind of stupid if you accept that. Don't accept that. You should not accept people just making blank statements about people whom they don't even know. You know? And as a human being, you should be able to talk to whoever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you, first of all, if you're so self-righteous, how can you instill change in someone's mind if all you're going to do is try to bash them, shame them, cancel them, get them fired from their job, force them to do things that they don't want to do? I mean, that's not how you instill love, you know what I'm saying? And not even lying to them, because eventually they're going to find out the lies. Now some people like to be angry, so those kind of people won't find out the lies. But where am I going here now? So, some people like to get angry and hurt people. So those people are going to stay on the left. They're the ones who like to hurt people, like to kill people, like to attack people, like to destroy things. So, and I've always argued anyway that whom people call white supremacist or the far right are not really on the right at all. They would be on the left. Okay, like the extremists are not in the traditional liberal or conservative groups. They're outside those groups. So you could literally detach them from the right and the left. Right? An extreme leftist versus an extreme right, they're both the same. Why? Because their end game is the same. They want you to do what they want you to do, and they'll do it by force. They'll do it through violence. They'll do it through destruction. They'll do it through authoritarianism, totalitarianism. You see what I'm saying? So they're not even in the traditional groups of liberal and conservative, you know? So to say that just because you vote Republican, you're far right, no. Or just because you vote on as a Democrat, you're far left, although I will argue that no matter, I would tell people no, they should not vote Democrat because why? Because they're adopting these things. Okay, they believe in force. They believe in taking away your rights in order to get something implemented, and that's something that I cannot agree with. I mean, I was born into a free country, and that's the country that I want. And that's the country that everybody should want. You know? So it's just kind of, again, just kind of, it doesn't make any sense to for people to vote their own rights away. Like, I don't understand that. Like somebody, I was just listening to somebody on YouTube. They were talking about, Tesla cars and stuff, and how Tesla might not sell well in certain European countries anymore, or at least some may not now sell in European countries very well. And, one of the things that they brought up, the reason why people can even buy a Tesla in some of those countries in Europe is not because they're well off, not because they're doing well, right? It's because the government is giving tax incentives when people buy those cars, right? And the reason why they're giving those tax incentives is what? Well, of course, climate change. They want to help the planet out, right? They don't want to destroy, they don't want fossil fuel cars on the road. So he was just basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, so forgive me if I'm just a little off on some of the details. Um, but to sum it up, he was just saying that, well, people won't be able to buy these cars anymore. Well, number one, he was saying that some people still can't buy these cars, right? Because they're too expensive. Um, but he said more people were able to buy them because of the tax incentives. And then pretty soon, some of these tax incentives, or a lot of them, are going to end, right? Because they were only for like a certain time period, and then they would have to re-vote on it again to keep them going again. So, so the economies and the systems that these European countries have set up, which is the European Union and the Scandinavian countries, are anti-productive. Because even when they're trying to encourage people to buy electric cars because they don't want to hurt the planet with climate change, right? Which again is just conjecture. There's no proof that that's happening, and there's no proof that CO2 is causing it, and there's no proof that we're going to have a doomsday. None. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Doesn't matter what the graphs say. There's no hard evidence at all that says it's going to happen. But anyway, that's besides the point. So what the point I'm making here is that these Scandinavian countries, they have high taxes, right? So people got their free health care, which isn't free, okay? They have to pay like 50% tax, income tax, to pay for this free thing that they got. So you make 60,000, you're giving 30,000 to Uncle Sam, all right? Or whoever European Sam is, whatever you call the representative of the government. All right? But then that's not all. In a lot of these countries, you have a 25% VAT tax, right? Like, wow, So not only do you pay a lovely 50% income tax, to get your free stuff, you're also paying a 25% purchasing tax or sales tax on things. So when you buy certain things, I guess. I don't know if it's every single thing, but you know, certainly a car. That's definitely well, why is he not shooting this other one? Really? Dude? Okay. I thought he was killing the other one. What's he doing? So anyway. Anyway. So it's like the whole system that you have set up is anti-helping climate change. Because people can't afford to buy the things that supposedly will help save the planet. Right? So and this wonderful system that they set up, which is supposed to like help people, you know, all I keep hearing every time I hear people talk about this stuff, and I'm not talking about Americans, I'm talking about these are Europeans who are saying this stuff, that they're happy with being poor for the sake of saving the planet. But do they even think about what they're saying? They gave up half their income to save the planet. This is what they tell themselves every night when they wake up. I love paying high taxes because it's saving the planet. When really that 50% is just to pay for the health care. It's not to save the planet. You know what I'm saying? And that 50% tax is to give those politicians that fat salary. Right? And for those corporations to make that big money. Right? Not really helping you at all. Not really helping climate change at all. You know, it's just made you poorer. That's all it did. People agreed to vote to become poorer because they were guilted into thinking that they're saving the planet. I don't know. I've heard plenty of Europeans said that they regret ever supporting the European Union. And you know what? Now that those countries are in that system, they're never getting out of it. They gave the government too much control. This is why they want to do it in the United States, because once they implement this stuff, that's it, you're choked. You got the choker on. Because if you say the wrong thing now, if you do the wrong thing now, they're going to take away your health care. Which you've been told that you have to have. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have health care. I mean, you can work a job and pay for your own health care. You don't have to have universal health care. That's not going to save lives. It's not going to make anyone live longer. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like people couldn't get health care even without having health care. We've got plenty of systems in place where you can still get treated for things. Yeah, you might not get, you may have a problem with certain situations that are like super expensive. But that doesn't get fixed miraculously just because you get universal health care. I've heard plenty of stories from other countries where there's a long waiting list to get certain procedures done. And people from Canada who said that they had to fundraise so that they can get certain procedures done because they were waiting, they had to wait. Or the government simply said, we're not going to cover this because we don't think it's essential. We think it's a waste of money because we believe that the chances of living are too great, or the chances of living are too low if you get this procedure done and we pay whatever it is, $150,000. You know? Like my dad had health care he paid for the family. I mean, he had some kind. I think he had some kind of health care from the union or whatever when he was in it, but that only covered so much, and then he had to pay for the rest. But it didn't really matter because he would have had to pay the same anyway, whether he had the union health care or not, because it's just how it works. You know, if you got to pay for your own health care, it's going to cost the same no matter what. You know? So, or at least nearly the same. So I think, I don't know. I just know how much it was going to cost me if I was going to pay for the whole family. So, which is about 12, I don't know if it was 1,200, between 1,000 and 1,200. I guess if you shopped around, you might have been able to get a better price. But again, I live in New Jersey, so everything is super expensive here. You know what I'm saying? So, just living in the state, you're paying more. Because it's just a liberal state, so everything's expensive, because the liberals made it that way. Okay, with all the super regulated state, high taxes. So, I experienced the liberal utopia here. But it would have cost like, 1,200 or 1,000, let's say 1,000 a month for, a husband, wife, and maybe a kid or two. 1,200 maybe if you wanted a really good policy. Now, think about that for a second. People are paying, if they're making $60,000 a year, they're paying $30,000 into the system, right? And they're also paying the VAT tax over top of that. And I don't know how the people let them get that in there. Like this is the insanity that I'm thinking about in my brain. Like, okay, you agreed to pay 50% of your income. Okay, that's pretty extreme in my book, right? But fine. But why did you allow the VAT tax to come in? Like, now you're saying I want to pay another 25% when I buy things? Like, that's the crazy. But that's what happens when you give the power to the government, when you give power to these politicians who really don't care about you. They just want to control things. Because people don't understand where this all comes from. They think it comes from some secular source, but it doesn't. Again, read The Great Controversy and you'll find out exactly where this comes from. So I don't know. But again, think about it. $1,200 a month. You figure that up on a calculator. So you got 1,200. You're paying $1,200 a month, which is a lot of money. I'm not saying it isn't. But if a husband and wife is working, it's doable. For a family, I'm saying a family policy. So let's just say you're going to pick the expensive one, 1,200 times 12. That's $14,400. And that's a pretty good policy. That's probably going to cover pretty much everything you need. You may have to pay for, I don't know, some prescriptions maybe. Some of the more expensive ones maybe. $14,400. $14,400. That's for just a family that makes 60,000 a year. Now, if you're making 100,000 a year, you're giving up $40,000 to $50,000 in taxes when you could be only paying $14,400. And then what you're doing is you're not only paying a lot more money, right? Not only don't and the argument that, well, what about people that can't afford it? We're helping to pay for them. Well, no, sorry. No. That's not how it works. Okay? That's not how it ended up working. Sorry. So what you did, you're number one, you're paying exponentially more for the health care that you were complaining you couldn't afford before. Okay? Right? Because that's what this was all about, right? This is where universal health care comes into play. You were complaining before because you couldn't afford health care. So you said, I can't afford $14,400 a year. So you ended up paying $30,000 a year or $50,000 a year for the same, well, for health care. But the problem is it's not the same. It's worse health care. Not better health care. It's worse. And number one, you ended up giving the government the power over your own health care. You said, here people that I don't know and I never see. Here, you take my money and I'm entrusting it to you to manage my health care. Take it. I give you permission. I don't only give you permission, but I give you absolute authority as well. Because along with me giving you my money to manage my health care, I am giving you the power now to make whatever laws you want to control my life. That's exactly what's happened in Europe. And don't say it hasn't happened. That's exactly what's happened. And like I said, I was listening to the video earlier of a European who was making a YouTube video about why Tesla cars are not going to be sold well. And the main thing was people aren't going to have the money to afford it. Huh. Wait a second. Don't they make 60,000 a year, 80,000 a year, 100,000 a year? Oh, that's right. They got to give 50% of that to the government. Oh, and then they got to worry about paying a 25% VAT tax. And even with the incentives that the government puts in place, the tax breaks or whatever, a lot of people still can't afford to buy them. Now, mind you, electric cars are expensive, even here. But there's a lot of cars here that are too expensive to buy. So it's not just Tesla. You know, I wouldn't mind just having an electric car just to have one because I like technology. I don't, I wouldn't buy one to help save the planet, but I would buy one to support it. Because I like technology. Now, I don't believe that an electric car is better for the environment than a gas vehicle. I don't. Because number one, CO2 is not detrimental to the planet. Our life depends on CO2. If there was no CO2 on the planet, we would be dead. Right? So CO2 is vital for the planet for a lot of different reasons. Okay, ecosystems depend on it all over the planet to survive and to thrive, right? And I don't know, again, I don't understand how people were duped into thinking that CO2 is somehow going to ruin the planet. Like, huh? First of all, the planet is probably just warming up because it came from a cold spell, right? Like we had an ice age not too long ago. So the planet has to equalize itself, right? Somehow. So you're going to have it warming up and then you're going to have it fluctuating in the process because it doesn't just like, there is no steady warmth. You know, it's going to kind of go up and then down, up and then down, up and because that's how dissipation works. You know, if anybody knows what osmosis is or whatever it's called, dissipation. I mean, you know, when equilibrium, right? Equalization, you know? And we're not talking about like pouring hot water into cold water. You know, where it equalizes after, you know, just a few hours or whatever. You know, we're talking about a planet, right, that gets influenced by so many things. And guess what? It ain't going to be CO2 that we spew out. That's probably the thing that affects it least. You got the sun, the Earth moving around the sun, the distance the Earth is from the sun at certain times. You have the other planets that probably affect the Earth in some way from their gravity, right? The axis of the planet, you know, it wobbles. Um, the the water vapor that's in the air, the way the Earth spins. I mean, there's just so many different mechanisms that affect the climate on the Earth. It's like unreal. And they want to demonize. Again, this is the minimalization I was talking about earlier. Except they go to the opposite extreme and say, "Oh, CO2, it's bad." You know, it's poisonous to the planet. You know, it's a ruinous to our ecosystem. It just drives me crazy in my head that people just buy into this stuff. They don't even do any research. Like farmers who have hotbeds, in order to make their vegetables grow very well and quick and lush, they pump CO2 into the hotbeds to make good crops. And that's an enclosed system. That's what you call a closed system. Now it has a fan and all that to regulate temperature, but you know, you get my point. The Earth is an open system. You know what I'm saying? The Earth is an open system. So, okay, that was weird. Alrighty then. So, and also you have a recycle system here. So you not only have an open system where these gases, some of them can escape. Yeah, I understand that they say that CO2, blah blah blah, it doesn't escape like, say, helium does, right? Helium just kind of leaves the atmosphere. Not all of it, but you know, it because it's very light, right? So it doesn't be held down by the gravity, and of course CO2 is heavy compared to the air, so it kind of tends to sink, I guess. And it also reacts with things in the atmosphere to make acids and stuff like that. So, you know, I get all that. But we also have a recycle system, and that's called the ocean. That's one of the recyclers that absorbs CO2. You know. But even if let's say that even the ocean wasn't absorbing enough CO2 to, I don't even know, I don't even want to say meet the requirements of the scientists, because again they just made up numbers, right? Because they have no reference to go by. You know, like we've never studied the Earth's the climate of the Earth for thousands of years. You know, they look at ice cores and stuff like that to see what the levels were, but that doesn't tell you like whether that was good or bad. And also that's also up for interpretation, right? Because scientists believe that in millions and billions of years, whereas like some scientists will say no, the ice cores are not indicative of millions of years, but just weather cycles, right? Where one little line just means that was a weather event. You know, whether it was a snow event or a rain event or a volcanic event. So, you know, the ice cores may just be hundreds and thousands of years, not millions of years. So again, that's up for interpretation. But again, it doesn't really point to millions of years because there's already a lot of evidence that say it's weather events, not millions of years like the old ignorant scientists believed. You know? So, I don't know. We've all gone mad. But again, people gave up their rights thinking they're trying to get universal health care. And again, the whole logic of it was to make it cheaper, right? Universal health care, it'll be cheaper. But yet it costs you more than double the amount when you hand it over to the government. And everybody's okay with that. And they don't even get better health care. Yeah, you might be able to go to the hospital and treat a broken leg or whatever the case is. But guess what? If you need a triple bypass, or if you need like chemotherapy for 3 years to treat your cancer, from what I've heard from people who were in this situation, it is not a good experience at all. There was nothing easy about it. Now, some people might say, oh, well, my aunt, they had no problems. Well, of course, it's not going to be everybody. But there's enough cases where we know that it's not the healthcare utopia that they were promised. And it's not cheaper like they promised. You know, when you're paying double the amount you would have been paying before, that's not cheaper. In fact, that's only for the person that's making $60,000 a year. The person who's paying, the person who makes $100,000 a year is paying what? Triple what it would have normally cost. You know, so where's all that money going? That's what I'd like to know. And it's kind of messed up that nobody is asking. They might say, oh, well, we get free college too. Well, there's horror stories there too. You won't be able to get the degree you want if the market's already flooded. If there's already too many nurses in the market, they're going to say, sorry, we can't pay for that degree. You're more than happy to pay for your own college if that's what you really want to be. Or if you want to be a lawyer, if there's too many, they're going to be like, no, no, can't pay for that. There's too many on the market. Now, again, I'm not saying every single country works this way, but because I haven't studied every single European country, but from the several that I've heard about from Europeans, not from Americans, but from Europeans, that's how it is. But you will never hear the media tell you this. You will never hear your college professor tell you this. All they will do is get you angry so that you can implement this stuff. And they will turn anybody who speaks against it into the devil. That's what they will do. And even worse, they'll call for your death. Because they'll make statements like these people shouldn't be on the face of the planet. So, that's pretty much calling for somebody's death. You dehumanize people. So, this is why I can't ever buy into this kind of a system. Because it doesn't help people. It dehumanizes people. It takes people's freedom away. And it's not going to help climate. The Earth is going to do what the Earth is going to do. There's nothing you can do to change how the planet functions. I mean, think about that for a second. Scientists already said that it would take hundreds, if not thousands of years. I would say more agree with the thousands, not hundreds, to terraform a planet. Right? So if it was so easy to affect climate, then they should be able to terraform a planet in no time. Right? Because isn't it that easy to change climate? Because that's the first thing you got to change when you terraform a planet. You have to change the climate. I mean, otherwise, you can't grow anything. You can't really live there comfortably. I mean, you got to have the pressure, You have to build up an atmosphere first. So that should be the easiest thing. If we're changing this planet so easily, But guess what? It's not. So they contradict themselves there. And I understand somebody's going to come back, maybe eventually, if they ever listen to this and say, well, you just don't know what you're talking about. You're not smart enough to know how everything works. Even a child can figure out that an acorn that falls from a tree will grow into a tree. And then if I ask that child later, where do trees come from? Well, they come from acorns. Well, where do acorns come from? Well, they come from trees. Well, where do trees come from? Well, they come from acorns. Do you have to be a genius to figure that out? Really? I'm just asking. Do you really have to be a genius to figure that out when a child can? And I think you understand my point. You don't have to know everything to know how something works in nature. You don't have to know everything to know how this planet functions when you've lived here for 50 years. Right? Like, in other words, like, take just this for example. Like, I'm not saying that I get it right every time, but because I don't usually think about it, I just say something like it's automatic, really. So I grew up on a farm, right? And growing up on a farm, you're kind of aware of like what you do when you farm, right? You plant, you sow and you reap and all that stuff. You fertilize, you spray the insecticide or whatever we used back then. You cultivated the soil, and you also had like concerns, right? When's it going to rain? When's it going to snow? What kind of storm we going to have? And like, being out in the fields and all that stuff, doing tractor work and, pruning the bushes, because, it wasn't just the migrant workers that did it. We all kind of helped. It's not like the progressives will tell you that those farmers, man, they abuse their migrant workers. That's not even how it happens. And that's very sad that they, even today, they still spew that crap out of their mouth. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, just growing up on a farm as a child, because, I left the farm, like when I was 18 or whatever. I mean, I went back to help here and there, but I haven't really been on the farm for decades now. And for many reasons, I'm not going to get into that. So, but even now, after decades from being off the farm, like again, I don't think about it. It's just like involuntary. I'll say to my wife, like, and I didn't look at the weather or nothing like that. Might not have looked at it for days, right? And I'll go, wow, it smells like rain. And my wife will go, oh, really? I said, yeah. I mean, I can just smell it and feel it. Like there's just something in the air that I think it's going to rain soon. And lo and behold, it's going to rain. It rains. It's like, wow, okay. I still have that farmer instinct coming out, Now, am I a genius because I knew that? Because I just know how the atmosphere gets, before it rains. Am I some special person because I know that? No, it's just the same thing with a farmer. Like, it's you experience, right? Doing things, experience, being in the ecosystem that you live in. You just know how things work. You know that it's not some magical manifestation of things, right? God created this world to function a certain way, right? And to be inhabitable by people like us. Now, again, originally it was perfect, but now it's not. But that's another story. Okay? But it still functions in a way that follows the law of physics, the certain laws of nature, right? Laws of thermodynamic, And there's systems in place that are here, the nitrogen cycle, the water cycle, the carbon cycle, these various cycles that make it so that the Earth stays within a certain parameter of equilibrium. Okay? It's not like a line that's this thin, like the scientists want you to think, right? It's probably like this, on the graph, where things fluctuate. Now, as humans, we might look at it and go, wow, that's pretty big fluctuations. But, well, that's because we're looking at it on we're so tiny, right? And the Earth is so big. To the Earth, it's just small fluctuations. They're just fluctuations. That's all it means. So, the Earth has a way of fixing itself. Okay. All right, I'm heading back to here, huh? So it's scientists want you to freak out because they see little changes. And they only freak out because that's what they were taught, right? Somebody taught them to freak out. Okay? They didn't freak out because they saw something. They freaked out because somebody told them they should freak out because they saw something. Okay? It started from somebody's mind. It didn't start from evidence of something. It just started because somebody freaked out to begin with. Right? It's like the media. They want you to freak out because of the C-19, right? The thing that we should be so horrified about, the sickness, right? So the media wants you to be scared. So that's what they put out, stuff that scares you, numbers that scare you, right? Only rhetoric that scares you, right? Because remember, they're part of this system of control. Now, they're not unbiased media anymore. They're not true media anymore. They're not looking for facts. They're looking for a way to terrorize you with their rhetoric. Okay? They want you to be horrified. Because they know that if they can scare you, they can herd you in a certain direction. Like they do with cattle, right? The dog runs on one side, the horse rancher rides the horse on the other side. They're shooting off their gun or whatever they do and make noise. Ah, ah, right? They're scaring the cattle in a direction. You know? And I know that people may not like me saying that, but that's exactly what's happening. You're being herded in a certain direction from fear. And that should be throwing up red flags for everybody automatically. Right? That should be an automatic red flag for everybody. Okay? Because you're not being pushed by reason. You're being pushed by fear. Okay? And if you have to become hateful of another group of people in order to continue to push your agenda, then that probably something wrong with that philosophy right off the bat, right? Because isn't that exactly what we were like fighting against when it came to, you know, African American people? Weren't we fighting that kind of thinking? That's what I was always taught in liberal-run public schools, that you should not hate. But here we are, 2021. It's okay to hate. It's okay to cancel. It's okay to get somebody fired from their job because they have a different opinion, or not even that, just because they like their freedom. Somehow, liking your freedom has become evil again, has become bad. Now, why did I say again? Well, you remember that time period from like 538 AD to 1798? Remember that time period that we used to call the Dark Ages? When people didn't have the freedom to worship the way they wanted to worship, to live the way they wanted to live? Remember that time period? You know, the time period where you'd be thrown out of the church if you didn't follow the church doctrines. And then if you continued not doing that and you kept talking about what you believed in, that you would eventually be burned at the stake or tortured or thrown in jail. Remember that time period? You know, you wouldn't be able to buy or sell. You were canceled. Huh. Now all of a sudden it's like in style to live like we lived in the Dark Ages. So to me, I'm wondering, like, do people think about what they're really supporting here? Because it's not conservatives who are telling people they should be canceled. It's not conservatives that are telling people to burn books, even though a lot of these textbooks out here are wrong, right? There's not conservatives out here saying that we should be racist against other groups, like the left is doing against black people who are conservatives, like the left is doing against, well, the other white people, right? Not them white people, not the leftist white people, but the other white people, or people that own businesses. Oh my God, they're so evil because they want to start a business and make a life for themselves, So, am, you know, am I the crazy one? To want to not be back in the Dark Ages, to want my freedom. I mean, are we really the crazy people? Or has society just gone mad? And don't say that society can't go mad. Remember those systems that we used to call communism? Soviet Russia, Vietnam, Cuba, China, North Korea. You remember those systems that killed hundreds of millions of people? For the simple fact that they didn't agree with what the government was doing? I don't know. Just saying. Maybe nobody cares anymore. But it's funny how communism is back in style, and it's like, I don't know how. How did that even happen? Except for people just believing stuff that is not true. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I gotta live in America. I got nowhere else to live. I guess eventually they're going to be coming after me. And I can understand the people's fear. It's very easy to scare people because, you have to work, right? And I said this before because people don't believe in God, or at least, there's a good portion of people that don't believe in God. Then to them, they have everything to lose. Because to them, anything that's worth anything to them is the material things. And this is the big contradiction, right? The left is always complaining about, like, the rich don't have health care. Why do you have a good car and I don't? Why do you got a big house and I don't? Why do it's always this kind of the haves and the between the haves and the have-nots. Even though their side has been creating more have-nots, or excuse me, their side has been creating many more haves percentage-wise than the conservative side has. Okay? The conservative side has been increasing in have-nots, if you want to look at statistics. So they say, oh, the material things are not that important. Just helping people and saving the planet. But yet, you can scare them simply by saying, we're going to take away your job, we're going to take away your health care, we're going to take away your stuff. We're going to, kick you off social media. So the very thing that they're saying they're fighting to avoid, which is materialism, that's what they value most. Because they're scared to give it up. And they do what they're told because they're scared to give that stuff up. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy to give up, obviously. I mean, nobody wants to lose their job. Nobody wants to worry about where the next meal's coming from. You know, I've been there. Um, but are your things so important that you're willing to live in a world that was like the Dark Ages? And not just for you, but this is going to be your children and their children, because this is never going to end. You know, because once you go worldwide with this, who can you turn to? Who can you run to besides, you know, God? But we already know how, you know, those who believe in God already know how the story is going to end, at least the ones who believe the actual truth of it. There's a lot of false Christian beliefs out there, unfortunately, who think that we're going to have 1,000 years of peace and all this other stuff, but nope, that's not going to happen. They might tell you that. They might convince you of that, and you might even think you see it happening with this New World Order thing, but nope, nope, nope. Jesus said when they start crying, peace, peace, and he's talking about on a global sense, then sudden destruction will come. So it's just that it'll be just a farce, something that's going to be like, you know, on the grand scheme of things, temporary. And you know, the Pope is already talking about Climate Sunday, you know, because he's all on board with the socialist thing. You know, Catholics, the papacy for sure, would love socialism around the world. You know, I read an article on one of the from the Catholic site where they said that they would love they encourage totalitarian systems. Now I'm paraphrasing here. They're okay with totalitarian systems because it makes it easier for everyone to become a good Catholic. I was like, wow, that's a really bold statement. So they're not even afraid to talk about it. And that's really where this all comes from. Ah. You know, they're the ones that are inspiring this kind of globalist socialist kind of mentality, you know, through the schools. This is why they got the professors in there doing their thing, you know. This is why the Jesuits came into existence. The Catholic Church was, that's their little army to fight against the Protestants, which they pretty much, you might as well say they conquered them. And also get the Jesuits in the school to teach, you know, things that are not really, you know, practical or truth. To teach half-truths, you know, and to deny certain things that happen in history. You know, in other words, paint a picture of a different history, you know, repaint history in their image, you know, the image that they would want you to see. So when the slaves were freed, they weren't really freed. When you know, the Civil Rights Act was passed and black people got their full civil rights and they were able to vote, you know, then they really didn't get their civil rights. They really didn't get their right to vote. You know, this is just what you hear over and over again. Yeah, that happened, but it didn't really fix the problem. You know, it's like the same old thing Now they're on the Asians now. Now all of a sudden there's like super racism against Asians. Like I knew they were going to get to the Asians. I mean, they went through the, the Afro-American, Africans, whatever, black people, whatever you want to call them now, because now you don't know what to say because you know everything you say it's like the wrong thing to say. People of color, you know. Then they tried to do the Spanish, but I think the Spanish know better, or the Hispanics or Latinos, whatever you want to say. Forgive me if I'm not using the right one, but because a lot of Latinos came from Hispanics, whatever you want to call them, people from South America, people from Cuba, people from other uh, Central America. They know better. They've already seen the face of tyranny, a lot of them. That's why they came here to America. And a lot of them don't believe in abortion either, so they think that killing your baby is wrong. I mean, why would you think that? So they're a little harder to convert to the Democrat side, even though there's probably still a lot that do vote Democrat. I'm not saying there isn't. But they're a little tougher because they're very independent thinking. They believe in they believe in business. They came here to thrive and make money and be independent. So now they're working on the Asians, which I don't think that's going to work too well either, because again, a lot of at least Asians that aren't from here, who migrated here, or who had parents that migrated here, maybe they're first generation children that were born here, they know what their parents came from, right? When they came from China, or when they came from Vietnam, or when they came from wherever, Southeast Asia, right? They know why they left, right? It was because of tyranny. It was because of lack of opportunity. It was because of the struggle, right? They came to America because here you can live out your dream if you really try. There's nothing really to stop you. Not your color, not your race, not your culture. I've seen many different types of people thrive here, and survive. So I don't think that they're going to get the Asians. They might get the American Asian kids, the younger Asian American boys and girls, maybe the youngest college students. And of course college students, they just get indoctrinated anyway. And a lot of Asians, they have strict parents, so sometimes they rebel against them. So they're kind of easy to manipulate sometimes, because they're traditionally strict. I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying traditionally. So I can see how they could rebel and then get easily swayed by this kind of nonsense. But I don't think a lot of them are going to be swayed, at least definitely the older ones, because they know that what the Democrats are trying to sell them, what the media is trying to sell them, is just not true. Right? Because they know what tyranny is. And they know that wokeness is tyranny. That's what the tyranny is. Good grief, man. These things, nobody's dying. One shot should be killing these guys. So yeah, the Latinos and the Asians, think they're going to have a hard time with those two groups because they just know better. They aren't going to buy the rhetoric. This, because a lot of them, like I said, came from communist socialist systems, and they know it didn't turn out well. Now Europe, seems like it's doing well. And maybe there's Europeans who actually think they're doing well, because a lot of the kids that grew up in the system don't think that they lost anything, right? Because they grew up, if you grow up poor and all you see is poor, then that's what you think the world is, you know? Like Soviet Russia, right? The Soviet scientists over there, during the communist regime, they did pretty well. Like the scientists who were working on the space program and the nuclear program and a lot of the government stuff, they actually had a half decent life, or I should say a half decent communist life. But even their standard of what they thought was privilege was like living in a row home in the city. They came over here after the war when some of them got, persuaded to come, and they could not believe how Americans lived. Like that they had they had nice big houses, and they had a good job and was making good money, and there was prosperity. That everybody had a car, at least one car back then, the families anyway. So when you grow up in a certain standard, and all you see is that standard, then you're never going to know what you're missing. And that's the whole point, right, of creating a Borg system. A system where you have group thought. You have to get rid of individual thought. Okay? You cannot have individual thought. Because if you have individual thought, then people start asking the right questions. You know what I'm saying? They start asking the right questions. When you have group thought, you don't ask any questions. Good grief, man. What the heck? You don't ask any questions. What is going on with this? Oh, my God. I don't know what's going on with me today. So rusty, man. Crazy. So I'm sure that a lot of Europeans are over there. They think that they're walking proud, thinking everything's fine, paying 50% tax and also paying 25% VAT tax on top of that when you want to purchase a big item. I mean, I don't know. It still just blows my mind that people praise that. And then they tell themselves, "Oh, we're willing to sacrifice, these things. We're willing to sacrifice our money to save the planet." Like, oh my gosh, man. I mean, that's like the biggest play that anybody can be played. Is to convince you to give 50% of your income plus 75% on top of that when you want to buy anything, because you want to save the planet. I mean, again, maybe I'm crazy and live in another dimension. That might be it. Call me insane. Just remember that number, $14,200 or whatever it was, 14,400. Do I still have the calculator up? Whatever I said earlier. Right? Just remember that. 14,400. That's what it should cost a family per year for healthcare for a good policy. $1,200 a month. You might have to pay for just some things here and there, but that's, you know. It's very weird, just weird. You know, when I read in the Bible that the whole world will be deceived by the beast, you know, it was a little hard to grasp at the time, you know. The whole world wanders after the beast. That's what the Bible says. That's the whole world. Now they're excluding obviously people who know the truth, right? They know what's going on. They can see through the, you know, the smoke and mirrors. But it's I can see today how easily that can happen, and it is happening now. Like this, it's actually coming true now, you know. So this whole thing is all about following after the beast. You know, you won't be able to buy or sell. You know, I mean, it all ties into that, right? So, and just to think, the thing that all you had to do was infiltrate the colleges, indoctrinate students to believe things that just were not fact, make up climate change. Well, first it was climate cooling, then it was climate heating, now it's climate change, which is vague, doesn't mean anything except for the climate changes, which we've known for thousands of years. And have a virus, some virus that you say is so horrific that you can't do anything. And then be told that if you do things, you're responsible for people dying. Like it was that easy. And they're still talking about it today. You get the vaccine. Fauci said, "Oh, get the vaccine. We can get back to normal." So people say, "Great, I had the vaccine. Now can I go eat at the restaurant?" No, you can't. Well, why not? Because that doesn't guarantee anything. Like, like okay, ready? Anyway, I'm just talking some. I'm just trying to logically approach this. That's all. You know, people can believe whatever they want to believe, but when you really think about everything, there's a lot of stuff that just is not very logical or practical, even that people are willing to accept. You know, willing to hurt other people because of, willing to hate for. And that's really what I got a problem with. Violence is not justified in any case. Period. You know? Just like Christians, you know, are supposed to show love and win people over with love, you know? Sincere love. It's not fake just to get people to join a church. You know, the Bible's very practical. You know, you live the way the Bible tells you to live, you're going to have a pretty good life. You know, you're not going to miss out on things. You might think you do, but you'll have a much better life, trust me. But that's besides the point. So, I don't know. But it's easy for me to believe now what the Bible says, that the whole world will wander after the beast power. you know. And the beast power, it says, will have a form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. So, sounds a lot like the woke crowd, right? Because that's really just self-righteousness. That's all that is. Putting on the cover of science, right? Because that's how they're justifying it all. Well, the scientists say, the experts say, and you got to listen to them because they say. It doesn't matter what the real facts are. It doesn't matter what the evidence is. You must listen. You do what you're told, or else. That sounds pretty religious to me. Or at least like a religion, you know? And I have nothing against religion as long as it's good, you know? But again, when you start infringing on people's rights, that becomes a problem. And no one should tolerate that. If you say you love humanity, then taking away people's rights is not showing much love. See, if I was a politician, I would say, look, like from the United States standpoint, right? Um, you know, they want to be carbon neutral, right? Which is kind of dumb. Still, it's pretty stupid. Because what's neutral? We don't even know what neutral is. Like, you don't even know what zero is. You can't know, you know? So you don't know what any ideal thing is because, again, we live in an open system and it changes all the time. So it's just an arbitrary point on a graph that somebody said, well, this must be, you know, neutral. Let the Earth determine what is, right? You know, because you're going to grow, like if the carbon CO2 raises, you're going to have better crops. You're going to have more farming. Like, isn't that what you want for poor countries? You know, bigger, better crops. This is what irks me. There's always contradiction. It's like, oh, we're saving you, but yet we're hurting you by saving you. It's like they took the All-Star game out of Georgia because they're protesting the voting law that was passed that actually was a pretty good law. There was nothing racist about it. It actually gave people pretty good, like, ways to vote, times to vote. I mean, it actually was pretty consumer friendly. I mean, yeah, whatever, the ID thing, but that wasn't even that stringent because people didn't even read it. So they took the All-Star game away from out of Georgia to protest because they said, oh, we're fighting for the rights of who knows? African Americans, I guess? What about the Latinos? What about everybody else? But whatever, right? They say it's racist, but if you have a law like that, it hurts everybody, right? If they're saying it hurts people, you know, even though the law wasn't hurting anybody, it was actually just making everything. They set parameters, right? Like I was just saying, the scientists set a parameter. This must be neutral. They're okay with setting parameters, but politicians are not okay with ensuring that the voting system is understandable and run fairly. Again, contradiction. But back to the All-Star game, if that's what it was called. They took it out of Georgia, which they said we're doing in protest because we're helping African Americans, minorities, whatever. And but at the same time, when they took that away, they took business away from all those black businesses and businesses that were run by minorities. And they sent it to a predominantly white state. So this is the progressive solution. We hate white people. We want to help black people. But yet we're going to shift any benefit to the white state. Because we're protesting for you. And it's like, huh? What? Sometimes I do want to smoke a joint. It's legal in New Jersey now. Because I want to at least feel like I'm out of it. You know, I want to be stoned because the world is so crazy now that you might as well be stoned. You know what I mean? Because if you're living in a wacky world, you might as well just feel good while you're in it. Right? Oh, and I still didn't. Oh, I did get one. Yes. There it is. That's what I want. Woohoo. So anyway. Let's see if there's any Utah over here. Probably not. They're probably long gone. So I killed one T-Rex, which might have been the Primal, maybe? Because I think I killed it. I'm not sure though. It was right next to me, so I'm assuming I killed that one. Yeah, I'm not really shooting very well today at all. Well, I'm glad the game didn't crash. There we go. There we go. Wow, that is a lot. Listen to that. Whoa. Oh! Already here. What the heck? Where is he? I think it's time for me to get out of here. Because I'm not doing very good today. What did I die twice today? Wow, that's the first. It's been a long time since I died that many times. Wow, come on. Can't have me. They will come up here too. Oh. Oh, he got me. Sucker. You going up or down, the sun? Coming up? Yeah, I guess it's coming up. Well, that's a lot of Utah. Whoa! 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 No! That is a lot of Utah. Whoa! Hee hee! Can't believe how many there are. This is the most I've seen in a long time. I'm pretty sure my game is gonna crash if I start harvesting these. Hello. You might be like going, why aren't you down there shooting them? Well, for the simple reason that I am not confident. I'm probably gonna die. It's just been too long, man. Somebody said I played like 3 weeks ago. I don't know. I don't remember playing that soon. But if I did, it probably wasn't for very long. And I probably didn't do much killing. lost that one. Wow. I hear at least one, maybe two. Hey. Fell down. I gotta be careful I don't get stuck. That one must have been hurt already. There's another one. Ah, no. Froze there for a second. I don't know what that was. No data, come on. Why is it saying that? Oh, I can't harvest until... Oh, I got two. Okay. How many we got here? Let's count. Okay, session stats. So it says I got 5 Utah right now. Now let's see how long. It's probably gonna crash. Before I get a chance to finish. I hope not. Does that, I don't know why, when you harvest stuff. Okay, let's see here. That was a lot of Utah. Oh, Lord. More? Wow. That might be a hurt one. Hope it's just one. Two. They don't see me on the rock. They don't see me. I hope it doesn't crash. I want to see how many I got. Sure, some ran in the woods. Probably won't get everyone, but we shall see. And there are some that ran off. They're probably going to come back. So I got to be careful. I would have taken a screenshot, but that probably would have crashed the game for sure. Oh, why are they all? They're all falling like that. That's kind of weird. Well, I'll tell you, if I was hungry and you could harvest this stuff for meat, I'd be starting a store. For sure. Okay. Let's see here. There's got to be some here. This is probably a record for me. Even after all these years. We'll just have to see what the final count is. Oh, I missed one. At least I'm making all my money back. That's a good thing. That is a lot of Utah. Yeah, this definitely might be a record. I mean, usually like when you're on for a long time, they'll cross over and then kind of wander off, in that direction. But I guess since there was nobody really over here, I don't think. I guess they must have just kind of clustered in the woods there. I'm pretty sure there's some down the bottom as well. Still got one out there. Wow. That's unbelievable. Still got a lot of footprints. So either you got some are out there hurt, or they're down here dead. Let's see if anybody dropped dead. I don't see anybody. Oh, interesting. Well, if they did drop dead, they didn't go in that direction. I know that there's some up in the woods up top. I don't want to look at the number yet. I want to wait until I get a see if I can check a couple more bodies. See if I broke a record. Any blood? Fleeing. See if we got any blood trails here. Nope. Just running away, huh? Let me check up here in the woods. One last time and then we'll check the count. So if you guys weren't here earlier, check the link that's in the chat. That was supposedly another Hunter Primal game that was being worked on, which was coined a sequel, or you know, like a part 2, I guess you could say. A successor. That apparently was developed, had DLC and expansions, and I don't know, it's so crazy. I think somebody got on there and changed the dates. That's what I'm thinking. But it doesn't seem like it was just only, you know, obviously based off the original. Where is the body? I can't see the body. Stamina, I hate it. I hated the stamina. I wish they had it so that the stamina only kicked in when you like were in combat. You know, that would have been better. All right, I don't know which way to go here. Because I don't see any blood. I don't know which way it went. Okay, so it went back this way. Interesting. Am I going in circles here? Maybe. We're back to here again. Ah. Yeah, it's lost the track. So it didn't die. Nope, I don't see any other bodies, so I guess we'll check the count. Wait, what's this? That's probably when it was down here. Walking up, most likely. Yeah. They're all clustered together anyway. fleeing. Oh, here we go. What's this? Going that way again, huh? Might get it. Might get it eventually. Okay, I gotta get my stamina back. Otherwise, I am a dead man. I'll take out this last one here. One more out there. Where is it? There it is. So I got one more. I'm pretty sure these are from the same group. I hear more. There's one over there too. Might even be a T-Rex out here still. Been on for a while now though. Ooh, is there two? No. There we go. Cool. Cool, man, cool. Okay. Alrighty. So what should I do? Log out at Site D? Oh, let's see how many I got there. So we had 5 to start out with. Wow, look at that. 5 to start out with, so that's, whew. So 36. 36 Utah. I'd say that's probably a record for me to have in one spot. Although you can knock off these two if you want. But that's still 34. I don't think I killed 34 in one spot before. I think that's a record. That was a lot of Utah. And this might even be a record. I don't know. I can't remember what my max would be for a session. But 41 up there, that's pretty high. Come to daddy. I need some feathers for a new hat. Oh, I thought I was at the Site D already. So this one's hurt. So see, this is part of the same group. Hmm. So, you know, I'm pretty sure those other two were as well. Good thing I'm in pursuit of a Utah trike. Oh, yep, it's definitely hurt. See if I can get him. That's pretty far. Maybe. Oh man, that's really far. Ah. No, don't move. Oh. Why is it so freaking wobbly? Why is it? Oh, oh, that's not good. Darn. Oh. Oh my God. Drives me nuts. Get hurt everywhere. Coming after you. Oh, there it is. Is that the one? No, that's a new one. Oh my God, it's so freaking wobbly. What is going on? Even holding my breath, it's like jerky. What's up, TNTV6? Ooh, a Rex. I hear him. I guess that's why that Utah stood there. Ah, crap. He's not gonna get me. I won't be able to harvest. Should have bought a 50 caliber while I had the chance. I'm doing alright, TNT. Better than I was last night. I had a migraine. Oh, somebody was already here. I wonder if that's the one. Ooh, two. Look at that, there's two here. Maybe we can get the other one to get over here. Oh, come on, get up. Where is it? Behind the tree, of course. Might be able to hide over here. Let me see. Sometimes he can kind of hide. I don't know if he can get up this hill. Ah, heard me. Hey there, big boy. Darn it. He hears me, I think. Probably smells me. See if I can get two good shots before I get to run away. Oh, he's getting a little too close. Hey, get back here. Come on. Yeah, heard me. Come on, dude. Taking too long. There you go. That's it. Go right down there. Can you add me on Steam? Yeah. Did you send me an invite? If I can get on tomorrow, I will. I may be doing something else gaming wise, but if I can get on. Oh, come on, man. Go to the rock. Maybe if they can't see anything, they don't go. Maybe that's what it is. Taking the shot. Don't care. Taking the shot. I don't know what I hit there, but... Ooh. Oh. Yikes. Sorry. Oh. When they turn. Everything seems so big. No, you ain't going away. Not allowed. Okay. Very good. Alright, so it looks like there's another one. The question is, do I want to spend time to pursue it? I don't know. Doesn't tell you which direction. Fortunately. Just gotta look for the blood. I would think that it probably is going in the opposite direction of where that one was. So let's check. Check over here maybe. Although it could have went anywhere in that direction. Like, okay. I don't want to look at them things because it might crash. Stamina. Here we go. Alrighty, so I think I'm on the right track. Now it's possible somebody could have already killed it and it just fell on the ground. Another male, huh? Wow. A lot of males today. Okay, so I'm pretty hungry. I gotta eat. Let's see. It's very bright out, so it's not as easy to see the blood. I could change the color. Could change the color. Stop banging! Sorry about that. Huh. Lost it. I mean, usually they go down by the, down by the water here. I mean, it is possible. Getting out of range, though, I think. I think it went the other way, though, down the slope. There we go. I can't add them yet. I'll add you when I get off. Okay? Man, this game looks really good in 4K, but it crashes constantly when you put it in 4K. It's just terrible. But the game looks really crisp. I mean, the graphics are basically the same, but it's just very crisp. The same, it's like you don't see any, like, no jagged edges anywhere. But the game obviously is not made for some reason. The newer hardware, every time I use my 2080 Ti, it crashed in 4K too. I don't have an egg, no. This is what I got. That's it. I lost all my stuff a while back. We already dropped an egg earlier. And killed a primal. But yeah, I lost all my egg, my glands. I said egg. Ooh. Did I hear something? Or was that outside? Thought I heard something there for a second. Alright, sounds good. Excuse me. Yeah, tomorrow and Thursday is going to be a little, you know, kind of a chaotic schedule for me because I got to work on some things in the house tomorrow, and Thursday we have to go pick up some furniture somewhere. So I don't know if it's really going to be Primal days, just to be honest. Excuse me. Um, Maybe over the weekend, like Saturday night, maybe, or Sunday. But then the kids are off, so I might be playing with them. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this week, you know. But like I said before, now that I got the new computer and all, I can get back to maybe trying to get on the Primal at least once a week. I have so many games I still have to play, and I'm trying to get to them, but it's very difficult. Now I want to go back to Skyrim VR because, you know, I have the 2090, the 3090. And I can jack up those graphics. You know, they were pretty good with the 2080 Ti, but I had to take out some mods because it was crashing because it was running out of VRAM, I think. So with the 3090 now, you know, you have the 24 gigs to work with. So I don't know if that's going to help or not, but I can certainly turn up. I mean, certainly the graphics can be pumped up as far as I can put them, I'm sure. So Skyrim VR is like pretty nice. I wish there was a hunting game like this in VR. I'm trying to find another T-Rex if you're wondering what I'm doing. Why is it empty? Oh, 5. I was hoping to catch that other T-Rex. It obviously, it had to have come this way. Well, we'll see. I mean, again, I got to work on the house, so that's priority. And, you know, I might be too tired by the time I'm done. And just might want to do something else, you know. If I don't game, obviously, then I won't be doing that. But definitely, we will try to hook up next week for sure. Just, you know, you just gotta send me messages on Steam, and then, you know, if I can play, I'll play. But I don't make any promises, you know. I can't make any promises. I don't do that. Not anymore. Nope, I don't know. I don't see this Rex. I was hoping it came down this way, but I don't see anything. And it might crash. Let's see. Don't crash. Ooh, more arrows though. I'll take those. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, I've been on for like almost 3.5 hours, so I think I'm gonna call it a day. I really wasn't planning on playing this long, but anyway, I ended up yapping away. But I didn't mind doing the Utah thing, and that last T-Rex was nice, so all good. So, anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys take care of yourselves. Be safe. Thanks for watching. Check out the affiliate links below for any game deals. Just try those 2 websites. I got my details if you ever want to try games. Because they do have sales. I'm sure you must have heard of them before. G2A and Green Man Gaming, so I've bought off of them before. I've never had any problems. So if you buy a game off there, then a few pennies come towards this way. So don't really make any money on the channel, but if I start, you know, getting some revenue coming in, I will definitely start doing some more giveaways, you know. So yeah. So thanks for your support. Love y'all. Happy gaming, happy hunting. I gotta eat. I'm hungry. Peace.